So, when you think about what makes America a superpower, your mind probably jumps to things like its military, or maybe Wall Street or Silicon Valley, right? But what if the United States' greatest, most powerful strategic weapon is something you see every time you look at a world map? Okay, let's get into it. I mean, really, what is it? What's the secret sauce? Is it the sheer size of its economy? Or is it that massive military budget that dwarfs pretty much everyone else's? Well, no. The real answer, the one that underpins everything else, is its geography. Yeah, the actual land, the rivers, the oceans. The very ground the country is built on has given it a set of advantages that are kind of hard to believe, and they've shaped its entire history. And to really wrap our heads around this, let's start with some fun stuff. A few surprising, kind of weird geographic quirks that show just how unique the American map really is. Okay, pop quiz for you. You're standing in Detroit, Michigan. You want to cross the border into Canada. Which direction do you go? North, obviously, right? I mean, it's Canada.
Wrong. You actually go south. It's wild, I know. Because of this funny little bend in the Detroit River, the Canadian city of Windsor is actually south of Detroit. It's one of those little facts that just messes with your internal compass.
And the oddities just keep coming. Get this. Alaska is so huge, it's technically both the most eastern and the most western state at the same time. And Nebraska? It's so landlocked, you have to cross 3 other states to get to an ocean. Oh, and Los Angeles County, not the city, the county, has more people living in it than 40 entire US states. And then you have the shapes of the states themselves. I mean, just look at them. So many of them are these perfect geometric boxes. It's because these borders weren't drawn by rivers or mountains, they were drawn by people with rulers on a map in Washington. And Wyoming, well, it takes the crown. It's pretty much a perfect rectangle, a perfect symbol of how this massive territory was just carved up.
Okay, so with those weird facts in our back pocket, let's just quickly make sure we're all on the same page. To really get the big strategic picture, we have to be super clear on what we mean when we say America.
First, you've got the country itself, the United States of America, or the USA. Simple enough?
That country, of course, is part of the continent of North America, along with our neighbors Canada and Mexico, plus Greenland and a few others. And then there's the word America. Now, technically, it refers to 2 whole continents, North and South America. But let's be real. In everyday conversation around the world, America means the USA. So for this explainer, that's how we'll be using it.
And these naming quirks even happen inside the country. You've got New York, the state, and New York, the city. Then you've got Washington, the state, way out on the Pacific coast, and Washington, D.C., the capital city, all the way on the other side of the country.
All right, enough with the definitions. Let's get to the main event. How does a map, a piece of land, translate into real, actual global power? Let's start with this number, 5,000 kilometers. That is roughly how wide the Atlantic Ocean is. And for most of history, that hasn't just been a lot of water. It's been a giant, beautiful wall. Now, to put 5,000 kilometers into perspective, think about this. In 1940, at the height of his power, Hitler couldn't cross the English Channel to invade Britain. That's only 33 kilometers of water. The Atlantic is almost 150 times wider. That massive ocean moat is the biggest reason the US mainland hasn't been invaded by a foreign power in over 200 years. But the advantages aren't just about keeping people out. It's also about what's on the inside. The US has the Mississippi River System, the largest network of navigable rivers in the world. It's like a natural superhighway system that makes it incredibly cheap and easy to move goods from the heart of the country out to the world through amazing natural harbors like Chesapeake Bay or San Francisco Bay. Okay, but the oceans and the rivers, they're only part of the story. The single greatest, most important geographic advantage the United States has comes down to its neighbors, or more accurately, its lack of them.
I mean, just look at this. This chart says it all. A country like China has to worry about 14 different countries on its land borders. That's a constant source of potential conflict and tension. The United States? It has 2. Just 2.
And it's not just the number, it's who they are. Both Canada and Mexico are stable allies with much, much smaller militaries. What this means is that the US basically doesn't have to spend resources worrying about a land invasion. It frees it up to project power all over the globe. It's the ultimate geopolitical security blanket. No other major power in history has had this luxury.
So when you have that kind of baked-in security, this geographic destiny, it lets you think about the world in a way that almost no one else can. And that, well, that can lead to some pretty interesting ideas.
This incredible stability allows for some really ambitious, some might even say wild, strategic thinking. So the question becomes, with a home base this secure, what could be next? What happens if those borders don't stay where they are?
Well, this is where some geopolitical analysts start to talk about wildest dreams. Things like annexing Canada for its resources, or pushing south through Mexico, or even buying Greenland, which the US has actually tried to do before. Now, these are just hypotheticals, of course, wild dreams, but they are the kind of dreams that only a country blessed with America's unique geographic superpowers could even afford to have. It really shows you just how much the ground beneath our feet shapes everything else.